All right. Sorry about that. I'm here. Sorry about that. I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to have a very basic live stream, but I want to send a message. You know, I tried to think of an overall basic message to put out because these dog lovers, when you look at the articles that they put out, they make a lot of repeats of the primary talking points that they want to brainwash people with. You know, dogs are family or whatever. What I want to brainwash people with is the fact that kids should never ask to pet dogs. That infuriates me when I hear it, probably more than anything else, is them instructing children that when they see a dog to get permission from their parents to pet it. Very few things about dog culture upset me more than that. Because it's an act of really going out of your way to get yourself hurt. It's not like the dog owner will be offended if you don't pet their dog. No, if you go into someone's home, you come into their home as a guest. In that situation, it might look offensive if you don't pet their dog. So I can understand petting someone's dog if you're a guest in their home. There's a bit of pressure there. But if you're walking down the street, if you're in any type of public setting and you see a dog, please do not ever, ever, ever. That's the worst advice that an adult could give to a child, is to ask permission to pet a dog whenever they see one. And they live by this nonsense. Now, other media outlets supposed to be having shows and specials where they discuss things like this. That's why I do it, because they refuse to do it. And this article surfaced yesterday, reminding people that there was a vigil for one of the most recent fatalities.
New at 6 tonight, members of the community came together to honor the 4-year-old boy that was killed in a tragic dog attack. People showed up at Franklin Park to honor Colton Klein, who died after being attacked by a dog on Halloween. Spokane medical examiner ruled his death a homicide, and police have not filed charges. The family still has a GoFundMe to pay for funeral expenses.
Now, he was killed on Halloween, which historically has been a night where ritualistic sacrifices are made. Look it up. Those old pagan, it's actually where Halloween come from. They used to execute, or they used to carry out sacrifices. The pagans used to carry out sacrifices on Halloween. But if you want to honor a slain kid, you do it by giving advice to other kids, don't you? Ain't that the best way to honor anybody's memory? Give advice to their peers so that they don't also fall victim to something like that. In a normal world, they would honor these slain victims by giving the best advice to others. When you don't hear that, when you don't hear anything about advice or preventative measures, nothing like that, it's probably because the people, the adult, the rulers, the lawmakers, they want these types of things to continue happening. Cut and dry. If something horrible is happening and you got the power to stop it and you choose not to, then flat out, you're okay with it. You know that it's going to continue happening and you're okay with it. That's the world we're living in. I know it sounds crazy, but it is what it is. Now, this was a recent story. The vigil. There was also recently a 4-year-old attacked by a pit bull. 4-year-old attacked by a pit bull. Now, how many 4-year-olds have been attacked by a pit bull? We've all lost track of how many kids in general have been attacked, period, by dogs. It's ridiculous for these people to get up in front of the camera and talk about how rare these attacks are. Even if you're talking about fatalities only, you are out of line for only talking about fatalities. These other attacks are many of them are just as troublesome and tragic as a fatality. 2 bulldogs shot dead by police after attack in Sheffield. This surfaced a few hours ago, and I'm going to try to go through this fast. Sheffield dog attack, I think that's the same story. Stray dogs return to do more damage at a car dealership. Now, this is relevant because
a Northwest Houston car dealership can't.
This displays their overall pointless, aimless aggression, where they just have to act out aggression no matter what. Acting out aggression and becoming aggressive is always at the tip of a dog's worthless brain. It doesn't hardly take anything for that dog to want to attack.
Can't seem to shake a couple of dogs who they say have now caused more than $350,000 in property damage. Now, we first told you about this story on November 21st. Here's surveillance video from past incidents where the dogs allegedly tore up 5 cars. Managers say they did another round of damage overnight.
Okay, understand. I know some people might look at this and think, oh, what's the point? No. This is a rare example that proves that dogs attack for the pleasure of attacking. They know that this is not food. They don't smell carcass. They don't smell food at all. They know there's no reward. That this is nothing but a big object. And they simply get off on destroying it. What other animal does that? Just think about that. As many animals that have the capability to tear stuff up and just destroy it for no reason. It's not the first time that it has been caught on camera, dogs tearing up a car or tearing up something, period. What other so-called animals just tear stuff up like this? None. This is a huge revelation. Huge revelation on sheer, utter, brainless, aimless, pointless dog aggression. You don't send kids to pet something like this.
You see how they're using the full power.
It's almost as if these dogs have a personal vendetta against G Motors.
Listen to that.
Managers say they sunk their teeth into a Toyota Corolla overnight. Surveillance video shows the dogs left the lot after 9.
Why would they be so anxious if there's no food? I could understand if there was a dead carcass in there somewhere that it could smell and it's starving. Oh, the poor hungry dog's just trying to get to the... Here, ain't nothing there. Ain't no smell, nothing. And they're going crazy.
9 p.m., only to come back and finish the job.
Continuously working on the same car. Now this dog is standing and trying to eat the light and the hood area and everything.
Eat the light? For what? Look at how much effort and energy this takes. That is extremely abnormal. Extremely. You never instruct kids to pet creatures like this. Creatures that show an abnormal level of aggression. Are you out of your mind?
As you can see, the co-conspirators left a mark, or 2, or 5. They almost tore the bumper.
Let me make sure. Let me make sure my sound is working. Ain't nothing crazy happening. We should be good. All right, let's continue.
Off and wires, springs, all kinds of parts ripped into and absolutely mangled.
People, they know right now what is going on. People, they're aware of everything. We're not getting customers, so they damage the business. We're scared that they're gonna torture people. My employees, most of them, they're not coming to work.
Sales manager.
So are you really just gonna go home each night and not try to do anything? No type of deterrent, really? Why wouldn't they suggest ways to keep these things away from the lot? If they're this anxious to rip up cars, then they'll eat food that's left out for them. Again, maybe they're just hungry. You don't even think to leave food out, thinking that maybe the dog will eat the food rather than eat on the car? Just no ideas, huh? Okay.
Gabby Fakori thinks the dogs may be sneaking in under the fence. He says this is the fourth time they've come here and caused damage. Video shows them tearing off bumpers and fenders in 3 separate overnight incidents from November 6th to...
Okay, now, look at the force. How much force do you think it takes to just do this? That's the force they use to rip your kid's skull apart. Huh? And y'all okay with this? Y'all want to instruct kids to go pet creatures like this? You're plumb out of your minds. You're plumb out of your minds. Okay? Now, let me do something here. Because I get annoyed by the people, the dog lovers, who try to tell me and other anti-dog people that dog attacks are not anything to worry about. And they say this because they say dog attacks are rare. And whenever they say this, they refer to the number of fatalities that take place every year in the United States alone. Now notice that too. They always only refer to United States statistics when they deal with fatalities. You really never hear them mention global fatalities. Never. They want to find the smallest possible number to try to throw in your face to protect dogs. But if you have Google, you got the internet, you could do this yourself. And I think it's kind of scary. Try to keep up with all the non-fatal attacks. Try to find them. Try to dig them out. And it'll take you a while. So narrow your search down to this year alone, just 2023. And even then, it's pretty extreme. Why you should never ask to pet dogs. Never ask to pet dogs. Dogs are not your friends. Y'all not a match made in heaven. Stop watching cartoons, okay? And even if you want to watch cartoons, just be mindful that that's a false representation of dogs. You see, when dogs see you, a kid, they want to attack you, even though there are plenty of adults around. And let me send this message out to the people of India, because this surprised me. Look at this woman right here. This woman right here. Okay, now that dog attacked this kid. Look at this woman. Do y'all really behave like that over there? You know, that's part of the reason why so many people get attacked. Like, after you, the adult, you spot a dog You then proceed to take your eyes off the dog. This is crazy to me. Like, wow. In a lot of cases, the adults over there contribute to the attack. Like, what are you thinking? As soon as you see a dog, you need to be on high alert. And she just takes her eyes completely off of them. So you can tell they accept dogs as just community animals that are harmless, no matter how many of them get attacked and die from rabies. They're still brainwashed to view dogs as acceptable members of society. That's unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. That's a horrible attack. I'll share a link and you can see it yourself if you want to. And now understand, this is a non-fatal attack. So you're not going to get statistics on this, but there needs to be some type of database. Here's another attack right here. There needs to be some type of database. And then you know what there probably is, at least when it comes to hospital visits. And you can look at the emergency room visits as an example. And in the United States, that's about 2,000 each day. Now understand that. Dog attacks are minimized primarily because people don't actually see them. When you actually see these attacks, even though there was no fatality, you understand this is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And you don't really feel like it's unacceptable until you actually watch the attack. That's why I say you should never minimize these attacks. They're very serious. And here was another one. This took place this year. And it's just this year. Now they surrounded this kid and launched an attack. For what? For nothing. Unprovoked, as always. Do these look like y'all's friends? Like a match made in heaven? Don't you should wonder why your parents and the other adults in the community tell you to ask permission to pet these. Why would they tell y'all to pet these things when you got news reports like this? And it's all from this year. This is from this year alone. Understand, all of these reports that you see on the screen is from this year alone. And we still got about another month to go. Okay? These not your friends. It don't matter if it's here in the United States where dogs are kept in homes and treated like family, or if they're stray dogs that didn't grow up around people. They're all attacking people, and they prefer to attack you, the youngsters, 13 and under. Okay? Now, we're not going to show none of these attacks, but just look at the flipping stories. Look at the stories. You understand this is ridiculous. 6-year-old, but that's a fatality. Now let's overlook the fatalities. Overlook the fatality. The people, they love to talk about how rare it is for a fatality to happen. Oh, it's so rare. And these are a lot of stray dogs. I can't even keep up with global dog attacks. And that's what I'm dealing with right now. These are all over the world. Here's one in Nigeria. It's a fatality. Okay, let me go back to the first one. I'm gonna go to page 1. They're probably brand new stories already. Okay, the hybrid people. There's 33 pages here, and I don't even think they're all here. Who want to say that dog attacks are rare? Oh, it's rare. And look at the search. Look at the words I put in. Dog attack child 2023. Why would you pet something like this? If these things have attacked as many kids as they've attacked, what make you think they're going to look at you any different? Ain't no special dog. No such thing as a special dog. One that just won't attack. Don't nobody know which ones will and won't attack. We all know this. And anything that's out here killing adults, the way that these things are killing adults, The one thing you never do is tell no kid to pet on them. You are out of your mind. This country needs to reform everything about dog culture. Y'all remember this attack where that boy became a tree? That was this year. One of the craziest dog attacks you ever want to see. Now look at this. Since we on the subject, all right, kids, look at this. Huh? Look at how fast, how eager. And I can almost guarantee you, they were not running before they saw this kid. They started running after they saw him. See, this is what dogs think about you, kids. They see you and they want to kill you. They want to attack you. Don't let nobody minimize dog attacks by just saying it's a dog bite, dog bite, dog bite. These so-called dog bites kill people. And dogs, why do they want to attack you? Just because they enjoy seeing people in pain. Seeing animals in pain. Small dogs in pain. Anything in pain. And the way this boy remained a tree, that was unbelievable to me. Especially seeing that it was 3 dogs. That was unbelievable self-control. Didn't run at all. That was unbelievable. So it proves this idea that becoming a tree will stop an attack is a lie. It's a lie. So where are you behaviorists out here retracting your stupid rhetoric that you preach every day? Well, the main thing is to stand still. You don't want to run because that will trigger the dog's prey drive. Look like their prey drive has already been triggered to me. And it didn't require nobody running. Them just seeing a living, breathing organism makes them want to attack. This is fear-based according to the experts. They were actually afraid. Kids frighten dogs. That's their rhetoric. That's their rhetoric. They're startled. They look at kids as threatening. No, they look at them as an easy kill. Just like they look at the small animals that they kill every year. An easy body. Something that's not going to put up much resistance. Whether or not they become a tree. A stupid tree. Why would y'all go up? Why would you instruct kids to pet on these creatures? You should despise these creatures, you goofy nutters. You should despise creatures that operate like this. That eager to rip your kids apart. The fact that y'all don't despise these creatures itself is despicable. Despicable. I can't respect nobody that's not motivated to despise creatures like this. Really? Are you really that inhumane that you don't feel nothing against dogs? When you watch stuff like this, you don't feel nothing but love for them still. And this is why I said y'all rejoice over these kids being attacked. I haven't forgot about y'all. I titled that video the way that I did for a reason, to trigger all of you nutters. And y'all fell right into the trap. Because I saw the comments from the nutters. Rejoice over it. How could you say such a thing? You heard what I said. And I'll say it again. Y'all rejoice over it. Y'all see attacks like this all the time. And what do? You continue to tell kids to go pet them. You continue to say that these creatures are the most wonderful creatures in the world, no matter how many of these types of attacks you see. So that's another way of rejoicing over the attack. Oh, yes, you do. Because again, if you were not rejoicing, if it was something you didn't want to happen, then it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. It's too easy to put an end to these attacks. So I don't want to hear it. Now, where is this video? Oh, we about to go. Here it is right here. We about to go to the comment section real quick. This is the video I'm talking about right here. Where we at? Right here. See? Dog attacks toddler. Dog lovers rejoice over it. Yes, they do. They rejoice over it. It might be privately. It might be subconsciously. Right? But their actions speak louder than their words. I don't want to hear how horrible you feel, how sorry you feel. Oh, I'm just so hurt. I don't want to hear none of that stupid nonsense. I'm going to look at how you respond. And that's going to tell me whether or not you co-sign with what's going on. Do you understand that? That's simple to understand. Simple to understand. Now, where's the comments? Where they at? We're about to find them right now. I think here's one of them. Say, you're a literal psychopath or trolling, but this is way too dedicated to be a troll. So because some creatures act in aggression, that means all of them are wished a slow, painful death. So what about, more? I'm not even gonna waste time on that. Get rid of all of them. All of them. Every last bully breed, every last large mutant. You have no argument against that. That's not the comment I was looking for. Right here. Dog lovers rejoice over it. What are you talking about? This is like a first grader's attempt at trying to demonize someone. You rejoice over it. Because what do you do after these attacks? What do all of you dog lovers do after these attacks? You continue to promote dogs, don't you? Okay? All I see is dogs attacking kids, something that should be unacceptable because they're defenseless. They can't fight themselves. They can't fight off the attack. And along with that, I see adults not doing nothing, calling each one an accident and still praising dogs, basically worshiping them, doing backflips every time they see a dog on a commercial. That's what I see. So you rejoicing over these attacks. Oh, yes, you are. You think your lack of a response is like no response at all? Like that's supposed to mean that you're against it? You think you can just say that you don't co-sign with these types of attacks and that's the end of it? No, you got to act like it. I don't see no organizations being created around the country. We're against kids being attacked by dogs. I don't see none of y'all's little goofy organizations trying to plead to parents. If you have kids in your home, you can't have bully breeds. Y'all not even saying that. Y'all not saying nothing. The only thing we hear from you dog lovers is love for dogs. You got all these other organizations that you created out here. Every time something happened to a dog, y'all creating some goofy organization. We're against animal cruelty and all this type of nonsense. You ain't formed one organization against having dogs, having bully breeds, have anything, any type of dog inside the home where children reside, even though it has proven to lead to fatal attacks as well as severe life-changing mutilations. So you're rejoicing over it. You found comfort in it. Oh, yes, you have. Oh, yes, you have. See, this is not a nation of people who's uncomfortable with it. If you just sitting back doing nothing continuing to praise dogs, you rejoicing over it. Yes, you are. You see how that worked? Do you see how that worked? I couldn't get away with that. Okay? If kids was being found dead under my watch, I'd be at fault, right? If maybe I'm a daycare, what do you think would happen to a daycare center that constantly got kids attacked because they kept bringing dogs into the daycare center? You think they would just keep being called an accident? No, they get in trouble. For what? For bringing the dog in there. And the crazy thing is, they bring dogs into daycare centers. Further brainwashing them. Why y'all telling kids to go up and pet creatures, the only creatures that's slicing them up the way they are? Why you doing that? Explain that, make it make sense. Child suffers life-threatening injuries after dog attack in North Spoke. Yeah, that was one of the worst attacks that happened this year. Y'all should be forced to make sense out of that. Y'all do this in schools. Teachers, y'all literally do this and teach this to students, kids in schools. See a dog, ask the owner for permission to pet it. Then y'all have these therapy dogs coming in there, and that's y'all way of training them. See, when you pet it like this. Y'all have kids up in there hugging these dogs, which is something you're not supposed to do. Okay? And another thing, if you are in school, if you're in class, and they bring a stupid therapy dog in there, leave. Leave. Tell them you don't like dogs. Dogs are dangerous. Flat out. And just keep saying that. There ain't nothing they can say. Check the news. Tell them, check the news. Tell them to Google dog attack kid. And that's why you don't want to be around them. Flat out. Well, this dog is not going to attack you. They don't know. They're going to tell you, oh no, this dog is safe. They don't know. We've seen this enough, goofy nutters. Oh, it's okay. And then the dog latches on to somebody, and then they're struggling, they're falling over, fumbling over themselves, and unable to stop the attack. And even if they do, you're now bleeding. You need to be taken to the hospital. Simple as that. None of these dog lovers got magic. See, they try to get you to believe that they have magical powers over the dog's brain and that they got complete control over a dog's brain. You know better than that. No, they don't. You ain't gonna get nothing out of rubbing these nasty, stinking, hideous monsters. So just don't do it. The only thing you get is put in danger. Put in danger. You walk away with nothing but a stinking hand. Nasty, stinking hand that you need to wash immediately. And speaking of nasty, there are a lot of nasty people in the world. Let's just be honest. Now, I can only speak for my culture. I understand different cultures or, different countries have people with different cultures. But here in the United States, it's offensive to stink. It's offensive to stink. In most jobs, probably all jobs, every job I've had, there's always been a policy against coming to work stinking. Like, if you come to work and you have a very foul, disturbing stench, they can send you home. Tell you go take a shower. People don't have to accept that. You stinking up the joint. People can barely do their job. But I smelled a guy today like that. I went into the dollar store. I'm always trying to save money. I went into the dollar store and the cashier was ripe. And understand, this was the dollar store, mind you. At most dollar stores, they have a big piece of glass between the customer and the cashier. Let me see if I can pull one up. Everybody, you all know what I'm talking about. At dollar stores right now, or at least a bunch of them, they have a big plastic window that separates you from the cashier. I found one. I'll show you a quick example of what I'm doing. This right here. See that? Well, this guy was on the other side of this. And I'm telling y'all, he was so smelly that it smelled like his armpits was a millimeter away from my nose. This was the strongest must I ever smelled in my life. And I'm like, how could he possibly be that musty? Where he's got a shirt on, his armpits are down, and he's pretty far away from me with a big thick piece of glass between us. This guy was ripe. And I'm like, wow, this is a small store. You think somebody would ask him, hey, why don't you, this is a dollar store, why don't you step in the bathroom back here? I'm sure they would have let you. If you come to work and you're stinking, you're musty, and you ask somebody, can I, step in the bathroom, grab some soap here? I'm sure they'd be like, yeah, please. Right? Be my guest. Take as long as you want. Go in there and wash yourself up. He had to have not put forth any effort to clean himself up. Like, how could you be comfortable with doing that to your coworkers? Forcing them to smell you. Now, you want to sit back, smell yourself all day in the privacy of your home and knock yourself out. Nothing wrong with that. But when you go around people, you're supposed to have courtesy. That's respect. Washing yourself is a form of respect for your coworkers, people who got to be around you for hours and hours. But you got some people in the world who just don't care. Not only was it that guy who was musty as all get up, but his coworkers who just let him continue working like that. Like, y'all seriously comfortable with just inhaling that all day? They must be nasty too. Nobody in my family would have accepted that. Either he got to go or I'm going. Take a whole point about to work around no muss like that. And if you let him do that for one day, he gonna think it's cool. Every day he gonna be musty like that. And that's gonna lead to a problem. And that just opened my mind. That formed a rabbit hole in my brain. I'm like, oh, there are a lot of nasty people. So if there are people nasty enough to do that, why wouldn't they be nasty enough to rub all on the dog and then prepare your food? That live stream I had not long ago, somebody mentioned how they were at it was like a well-known restaurant, and they had dogs in the kitchen there. There's nothing. They can get dog urine on their hand when they rub their dog. They're getting urine and excrement all over their hands. We all know that. What's their favorite area to rub on a dog? It's underbelly, right? That area of a dog is always saturated with urine and feces. Always, all in its fur and everywhere. And they love rubbing everywhere. When they rub these dogs, isn't it like a ritual for them to rub everywhere on the dog? They love to get, in places where they shouldn't. They love it. Nasty as all get up. And if they can't smell nothing, why would they be encouraged to wash their hands? They're not going to wash their hands. Okay? All the more reason. Cook your own food. Do not, and sanitize your hands constantly. This is the era we living in. When that that virus broke back in 2020, they knew that a big part of the problem was nasty people. That's why they said masks and social distancing. Something I still try to practice. And I bring this up a lot because I'm so tired of it. All of you workers, people in general, stop getting so close to people when you talk to them. Y'all act like that's a ritual too. I don't need you an inch from my face to hear you. Ain't nothing. I know a lot of people think it's polite to get close and show the person that you're talking to that you're not afraid to get close to them. Listen, it's okay. I'm not going to be offended one bit. We are in the germ virus era, so keep your distance, please. Stop getting all close. I don't want to feel your breath up in my, I don't want to smell your breath. I don't want you getting close to me. Keep your distance. But these people have no motivation to be sanitized at all. Nastiness is nothing to people nowadays. Dangerous times we living in. Don't touch nothing that other people touch. Nothing. And please stay out of these people's homes. Stay out of their homes. Kids, do not ever, ever, ever ask to pet no dog. Do you want dog excrement, saliva, and urine all over your hands? Do you know what that could do to you? Dog bite victims are notorious for contracting sepsis. Something I haven't talked about a lot on this channel, by the way, which is surprising. I told you there's a never-ending list of things that need to be talked about when it comes to dog culture. Kids, look at this. This is sepsis. This can happen to you just by petting a dog. Look up capnocytophaga. Yes, you can contract this and much worse. Staph infection. Several types of staph infections comes from dogs. And staph infection will do the same thing. It can do the same thing. It eat right through you. It will eat a hole right through you. Let me see here. Another reason why I'd never become a MMA fighter. Be sweating and touching a bunch of people who just been sweating and touching all over their nasty dog. And if you notice, a lot of those MMA fighters and boxers come down with staph infection. It's because of those nasty flipping dogs. Nasty dogs. Okay? Now there's staph infection. You can catch this just by rubbing on a dog. Do you want that? You don't want this. You don't want no hole developing. You will die. These things can kill you. Don't touch them. Don't touch them. And this ain't the only thing. You can contract anything. Salmonella, a nasty flipping parasite. And speaking of parasites, shout out to I Hate Cars and everybody who's mentioned these parasites. K9. I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, these parasites have an effect on these dog lovers' brains. How could they not? We already know that they definitely make their way inside these dog lovers' bodies. That's a fact, irrefutable fact. They make their way inside their bodies. So how could they not be making their way to these people's brains? Oh, yes, it is. Look at this. Y'all know Dustin Poirier. Most people know Dustin Poirier. MMA fighter. This is one, it's staph infection. Look at that. You can get that rubbing on a nasty, disgusting mutt. And that's just one type of staph infection. Look at this. You want that? You want that? You want your face to be blistering and chapping up like that? You walking around, you want to get in somebody's face and you look like this? You want somebody like this up in your face? Stop touching everything. Stop getting all close to people. Stay away from these nasty dogs. They will leave you with a lifetime of regret. Stay away from these nasty things. Look at this joker right here. Look at that. You want your face to look like that? Would you kiss somebody like that? Y'all got spores and craters developing just from touching a dog. Now look at this. This look like something you'll get letting the dog lick all on your mouth. Oh, yes, you will. Yes, you will. Stay away from that filth. Even if the dog has been detoothed, stay away from it. Because it's so nasty, you got no business touching it. Even if they were harmless, man, stay away from them. Big or small. Even if it's a small dog, stay away from it. Look at this. You want your lip? You want your bottom lip look like this? What's that growing out his lip? And you know, this is staph infection. This dog stuff right here. This is how people end up looking after they've been messing around with dogs. Which tells me dogs are filthy, nasty, disgusting creatures that you need to stay away from, period. All right? You playing around and letting the dog lick on you, you coming away looking like this. So that tells me I'm going to stay away from them. Stay away from them. Now, a lot of people feel like stuff like this is natural for human beings. I don't believe it's natural. Most of this stuff comes from people messing around, exchanging body fluids with dogs. That's a little too nasty. Okay, some of this stuff's so bad I can't even show it. Here's an example of one of those staph infections. Like I said, they'll eat a hole right through your body. And this Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa, wait a minute. Yeah, this Paulo Costa, another MMA fighter. Disgusting. Disgusting. That's a flipping hole, man. And it looks like some foul things in that hole. Some bacteria and other filth. You can catch this just by petting on a dog. There should never be an adult anywhere on this planet suggesting to any child on this planet to pet no dog. Drives me crazy, man. And listen, I'm sorry, I'm going to babble a little bit because I sit and I do a lot of homework and a lot of stuff pile up and accumulate. Now, I got to look at this. You want this? What in the world is this? It's staph infection. Staph infection. And you never know what type of staph infection you're going to have. I ain't never had no staph infection. I don't want it. What is that? Where your flesh is just being eaten apart. Like I said, these diseases that come from dogs, these parasites, germs, bacteria come from dogs. It's like stuff from outer space. Because these things are abnormal. They are essentially from outer space. Because they're not even supposed to be here. That's why you let nature handle it. Nature will wipe these things clean from the earth because they're not normal. See, and this comes from people trying to keep in existence creatures that is not meant to be here. Doesn't it make sense? Since you nutters, y'all trying to play God, trying to create and maintain the existence of a mutant population. Doesn't it make sense for that same mutant population that's not supposed to be there to also infect you with crazy, mind-boggling infections like they currently do? All the signs point toward these things should not be on this planet. And none of you have any idea. And oh my goodness, did y'all see that baby? It come from these people letting these dogs lick all over their newborn babies. We need to put an end to this era of savagery. They're trying to lead us backwards. We're not evolving. We are regressing. And we need to stop right now. Well, I have not ranted this long in a long time. So this is a rant. I should have put a rant at the end of the title. It is Sunday, 5 minutes until 7 my time. I feel a lot better. I'm gonna leave that rant there. What's up with y'all? How y'all doing? Have you enjoyed your weekend so far? What is popping? Oh my goodness. I did a lot of sleeping. A lot of research, and it feels good to get all that off my chest. I cannot wait until the next generation, or it'll be the first generation probably of anti-dog people. We're not going nowhere. Until this nuttery is gone, until we got our dog-free territories. Just like they did during the 60s with the suburbs. Y'all remember? They built the suburbs and they tried to say that only white people were allowed in the suburbs. Y'all remember it was some Jewish landlords. They put in the contract that only white people could move out there. And we all know the white flight, what they call it, because they move out. Well, we need to do that again, where we go out to the suburbs to our no dogs allowed territories. Listen, real estate investors, don't be stupid. See, it would be stupid for you to build communities not knowing whether or not people would purchase the homes. Here, you about to have a whole population of people waiting for these homes and communities to be built. So get the building, get the creating. Many of us, we don't want to live in no society around these people. And you watch how our dog-free territories flourish, and you watch how healthy we are. I refuse to live like no animal. I ain't no animal. Shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. And I hope you will join me on the next as we continue with this crusade.